For decades, the Sabarimala Temple in Kerala maintained a practice barring women between the ages of 10 and 50 from entry. The exclusion was based on biological grounds related to the deity's celibate nature. Petitioners challenged this custom as a violation of the fundamental rights to equality and dignity guaranteed under Part 3 of the Constitution. Temple authorities sought protection under Articles 25 and 26, claiming the autonomy to manage their own religious affairs. The Supreme Court faced a collision between these protections. A secular judiciary had to weigh the ancient autonomy of a religious group against the individual right to dignity. Resolving this conflict required the court to define a specific hierarchy of rights within the Indian constitutional order. The judgment accomplishes this by redefining the concept of morality within the Constitution to reshape how fundamental rights are applied. This verdict establishes a new anti-exclusionary baseline for future religious law. It also tests the strict limits of what qualifies as an essential religious practice immune to state intervention. The ruling serves as a foundational pivot point for the transformative potential of the Constitution in a pluralistic society. The legal derivation starts with the text of Article 25(1), which notes that religious freedom is not absolute. Article 25(1) contains a limiting clause that subjects religious freedom to public order, morality, and health. The court clarifies that in this context, morality means constitutional morality. This standard explicitly rejects changing social conventions or popular public opinion. Constitutional morality is founded on 4 precepts derived from the preamble: justice, liberty, equality, and fraternity. These 4 precepts are non-derogable and serve as the bridge to a just society. Any religious practice is stripped of protection if it violates these pillars of dignity, regardless of its source of legitimacy. The temple's defense argued that the exclusion was a protected custom and therefore sat outside the bounds of constitutional interference. However, the definition of laws in force under Article 13 proves that customs and usages are fully subject to Part 3 scrutiny. This follows the doctrine that the Constitution is a transformative document, meant to break from a past of stereotypes and subordination. Because of this transformative nature, customs cannot be immunized from scrutiny if they detract from individual dignity. This places the anti-exclusion principle at the center of judicial inquiry when reviewing discriminatory practices. Customary law cannot act as a legal shield. Tradition must be viewed through the prism of equality and individual self-realization. Under the essential religious practice test, a practice must be obligatory to receive protection. This requires the court to untangle core religious tenets from secular accretions or superstitious beliefs. When evaluated for historical uniformity, records showed multiple instances where women were previously allowed to pray at the Sabarimala Temple. The majority concluded that this lack of uniformity proves the exclusion is an alterable embellishment rather than a core facet of the faith. Striking down the exclusion does not result in a change to the character of the religion because the practice fails the essentiality test. In a stark contrast to the rest of the bench, Justice Indu Malhotra authored the sole dissent, arguing firmly against the majority's transformative logic. Her core objection was that courts should not impose secular rationality onto moral values underlying religious beliefs and forms of worship. She argued that religious beliefs need not be rational or logical to be protected, provided they are genuinely held by the community. This contrasts the pursuit of systemic equality with the defense of pluralistic group autonomy. The dissent challenges the court's jurisdiction to act as a reformer of religious doctrines considered integral by the community itself. The final tension lies between Article 26, protecting denominational rights, and the individual freedoms of Part 3. The court found that Article 26 must be balanced with the rights of others as a matter of harmonious construction. Denominational rights cannot override the overarching constitutional values of justice and equality. Group rights exist to provide a platform for individuals to realize fulfillment. They cannot be used to destroy individual dignity. In the hierarchy of the Constitution, the individual is the basic unit of the legal order. The court declared that Article 25 is gender-neutral and confers parity to all individuals without distinction. This protection includes women of all ages against their entry into temples dedicated to the public. The prohibition of women between the ages of 10 and 50 is derogatory to basic rights and violates constitutional morality. The judgment marks a break from a past characterized by discrimination. Ultimately, the Sabarimala verdict cements a powerful new legal baseline where fundamental individual dignity definitively prevails over ancient